We want to start with a story that really is shaking, I would say Hollywood, but really shaking
Beyond,
the country because it's the death of popular actor and producer Rob Reiner and his wife. His son, their son, I should say, now in custody.
Right. And so this has kind of been developing, new information coming in throughout the day. We want to bring in TMZ's Michael Babcock with the latest on this investigation. You guys are now reporting that it was their daughter that found her parents.
Morning, Shannon. Hi, Lauren. Yeah, just an incredibly sad and tragic story. We have, over the last few hours here, learned a good deal of new information about what allegedly happened, really starting Saturday night and then obviously into yesterday afternoon when, like you said, Shannon, at about 3:30, one of their other children, now their son Nick, who is 32 years old, he is currently in custody. Unclear exactly why he's being held, but it is in connection to the deaths of his mom and dad. But yesterday, he has a sibling, a sister, and we have been told that about 3:30, she found her parents, called 911. Tragically, at that point, it was too late. There was nothing that could be done to save Rob or Michelle, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an awful story. We're looking more into Nick, the 32-year-old that was is being held right now.
Yeah.
I saw that he has had, I mean, years since like his 15th birthday. I think it said was the first time that he was taken to a rehab facility, and that it had been like dozens of visitors or dozens of visits rather to other rehabilitation facilities over the years as well. So but at the same point, like him and his dad, they made a movie together. So like I look at this and I'm like, clearly they had a connection. But this is just, I mean, to see this turn of events is just sad.
No, I agree, Lauren. And to your point, they did make a movie together. I was watching interviews that they did, obviously after the tragic incident yesterday, and looking into his son, into Nick, and they had the project that they made that I think by accounts was pretty good and well received. They did a lot of interviews together. It seemed like they had a loving relationship. So to consider what might have happened, obviously we're not yet completely sure here, but to consider what might have happened, it's just awful. We were told, and it's relevant to their relationship and where they might have been right now, they went Saturday night to Conan O'Brien's holiday party. It's something he throws every year, and you get a lot of celebrity friends who go over and they have this big party where they all have a nice time. Well, Rob Reiner went this year with his wife Michelle, but they also brought Nick with them. We have been told that there was a blowout fight at Conan O'Brien's party on Saturday night where it got so bad or so intense that Rob and Michelle left. Unclear if Nick left, but Rob and Michelle left the party because they got into this fight with Nick. And then obviously less than 24 hours later, we know, tragically what happened to them. And now, as there is some evidence to at least indicate that he may have had something to do with it, I think it kind of puts that argument into focus. And they were not in a good place. We've been told that they were at wit's end, for lack of a better term, with what to do with Nick and how to help him. And they loved their son very much, but they just didn't know where to turn. And it just paints a picture of a parents and a son who were really in crisis with one another.
Yeah, that movie was called Being Charlie, and I bring it back up because it is Nick writing about himself based on his experience with addiction, with homelessness as well. He even told People magazine that he was homeless in Maine, homeless in New Jersey, he was homeless in Texas. He said he spent nights on the street, weeks on the street, and it does seem like that they would keep going to him and trying to get him help, trying to get him on the right page. And I just think of so many parents who probably have been in this same boat where they're trying so hard to help their kid, but at the same point, you feel like you're just playing the same old story.
And they had all the resources in the world, but I think it's an important message. It goes to show that money that's not all that matters. And he seemingly, had demons and battled real issues. And, Rob Reiner obviously had all the contacts, all the money, and still Nick was really struggling. And his bouts of homelessness, I think, paints that picture. It did seem like they were at times at least, they were in a good place. And it seemed like, even hearing Nick talk about his dad and Rob and how Rob helped him with his addiction issues, it seemed like Nick had a lot of love for his father. But we know how these things can sometimes go. And it's a roller coaster, and other times are more difficult than others. And it seemed like they were going through a real rough patch here. And I'm sure we'll learn more as the hours and the days and weeks go by. But it's just an incredibly sad story. You can tell how beloved he was by the reaction of other folks in Hollywood and just people who enjoyed watching his projects over the years. It's just so sad.
Yeah, we're already hearing about, different actors, comedians, people who worked with him, even showing up to the scene. I read that
Billy
Billy
Crystal went
Crystal was
last
just
We have
there.
video.
Yeah.
of
Larry
him.
David.
Yeah, we have video where you can see actually Billy Crystal, like it's scene video, like where, we're there
Right.
just getting video of police
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
home, blocking things off. There he is. There's Billy Crystal right there.
Right.
Walking with his wife.
Right.
I'm
I think they had to
assuming
see
all-
it for themselves.
Yeah,
They
and
were
did
just
they
in shock.
I think, do they live in that area? I mean, this is Brentwood. It's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's celebrity after celebrity in a lot of these houses, so.
It's so strange because this is obviously such a high profile case now, and this is about a mile away from where Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered, in the 90s. So you've had these two violent, tragic incidences so close to one another in what otherwise is, one of the most beautiful and wealthy neighborhoods that you could ever, want to live in. It's such a beautiful place, and it's just been marred by this violence, unfortunately.
Well, much more to come. I know you guys will be on top of it. Thank you so much for your insight, and we'll be checking in with you, I know, on Good Day tomorrow. So we will we'll get updates.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate you having me.
All right. See you.